Welcome to the Headquarters, a podcast powered by Edge. I'm Joanne Massey, Vice President of Operations for Edge, and I'm here today with Mayor Jim Strickland. Mayor, you have had a bird's eye view of economic development and city leadership for almost 16 years. 8 years as a city councilman and in your 8th year as mayor. What component of mayorship makes it most challenging?
Well, a lot, and probably too much to put in this 15-minute segment, but a couple things. First of all, Memphis has real challenges, and they're systemic, and we could talk a long time, but they're so many embedded into the city, from poverty and poor educational achievements and crime and that sort of thing, and those are hard to overcome, and the pandemic has made it all the worse.
Right.
And then second real challenge for a mayor is that the position comes with a lot of authority, but not complete authority. And a lot of people think we have that, so they give us all the responsibility, but we don't have the authority to go along with it. We have to work with, we don't educate, the schools do that. We don't handle criminal justice matters, that's the court system, and the state with the prison system, and the federal government plays a role, private citizens, parents. So those are challenges, but it's still the best job in the world, and I've been honored to do it.
Oh, wow, great. Well, as you just said, local government leaders face increasing challenges, but especially with building resilient communities. This year, we've had existing businesses expand, companies locate here and create high-paying jobs, and revitalization of historic buildings like the 100 North Main coming online. What are some of the things you feel that makes Memphis so resilient when it comes to our economy?
Well, that's a good question. I'll talk about a big picture and then maybe zero in. Big picture, Memphis has always been resilient. You think about the yellow fever epidemic so many years ago. I mean, where the city lost its charter and we came back, and from Jim Crow to stifling segregation for decades. But the people in Memphis just kept plugging along. That's why I thought Grit and Grind was such a great logo for the Grizzlies, because it fits Memphis. But recently, I really do think there's never been a better economic time in Memphis. We have more jobs than ever. We have thousands of jobs that are unfilled. We have free workforce development.
That's right.
We're one of the few states that offers free community college and free tech schools, free. And some job training pays you. Electrical union will pay you to go through their program, and there's others that will pay you to be to learn the crafts. So, and we have thousands of good-paying jobs out there that pay $40,000, $60,000 a year, starting salaries.
Wow.
So, there's never been a better time economically. Memphis truly has momentum economically, and the challenge is letting young people know that those exist. We created a website, Opportunity Memphis, and we have 211, which you call to hook you up, but the average person doesn't know those exist, and that's what we need to do. We need to get out those opportunities more. Now, there's still challenges, but economically, it's the best time we've ever had.
Yeah. Well, that's what we hope to do with this podcast, is get more information out. So that's really, really great information. Now, this is our first recording. We had to get you on because in less than 120 short days, you'll be turning off the lights at City Hall as current mayor of the city of Memphis. What are some of the corporate locations, expansions, or development projects you are most proud of during your tenure as mayor?
All right, that's the question I had to think about, and I had to write some things down.
Okay.
Because it takes up a lot of the 8 years, and I'll try to be quick about it. The first one that stands in mind is Service Master. 2 weeks after I took office, I saw Governor Haslam in Memphis, and he said, "That's awful news about Service Master." I said, "What are you talking about?" I didn't know what he was talking about. He said, "They're going to leave."
Oh, wow.
We went into a full court press, and there's more to the story, but there was one dinner that Mark Halpern, one of your board members, hosted at his house with the leadership of the then Service Master, and we tried to talked to them about the challenges that they're having in Memphis, and thankfully, with the help of the state, convinced them to stay in Memphis. And I think that showed that we can make things happen. Now that's turned into Terminex, and they're based here, and there's more to that story, but from then, and we're just a stone's throw away from St. Jude. That's also in my first couple of years, they said, we want to expand here, but we have terrible infrastructure. That's what really kicked in. Infrastructure is key to economic development. They needed sewer redo. So we went all in as a city. We said that. And they've added a couple thousand jobs, and I think a couple thousand more jobs. I really do think St. Jude is becoming our second most important employer behind FedEx, obviously.
Sure.
So that, Amazon. One of the things we learned in city government when you were with us in city government, that we needed a point person in city government to be the one-stop shop for all of government. So they don't have to get a permit here and take care of their electrical issues here. So one person. For a while it was Calvisi, now it's Dan Springer, and they've done a really good job of pulling all government. And Amazon, we got all their permits done within like a 10-day period of time.
Wow.
And they were thrilled with that. And now Amazon employs 7,000 people in our city. Huge, with great benefits and college, and then that kind of leads me to think, and you did a map for me about a month or two ago showing where we have incentivized businesses all throughout our community. I'm a big proponent of downtown, but I'm a big proponent of all our neighborhoods. And you look at that map, we've incentivized thousands of jobs all over this city, and proud of that. And then of course, two of our stalwart companies, FedEx, for the first time ever, they have a downtown building, first time ever. And then AutoZone's expansion. And we helped that along by building that mobility center because they needed more parking there, and there were other needs for the more parking. And they're expanding, and AutoZone's a great company to have in Memphis. So there's more to that, but those are kind of the highlights. But bottom line, it takes teamwork. Right. The state of Tennessee, EDGE, county government, city government, the private sector, the chamber, all working together. And for the last 8 years, I think we've done a really good job of all being on the same page.
Yeah. Well, that's why we call our podcast the headquarters. For all those agencies and partners that you just named, we're really truly the headquarters for economic development as a team. So those are really great accomplishments, Mayor. What do you consider the biggest challenge for economic development growth for the city of Memphis?
Well, it's a lot of things, but crime is a real challenge. I've talked to many business organizations who are really questioning further investments into the city, and that's why I think we on the government side need a more urgent sense of we need to act urgently and work very quickly to communicate a plan and execute that plan. And that's why I think I've been so vocal here recently about the challenges the judicial system is causing us, like on car thefts. When businesses really care if their customers come out and cars are broken in through. And the city police in the last 18 months have arrested almost 2,400 individuals for car thefts and breaking into cars. And they keep doing it because there's no punishment for it. And there's a huge revolving door. That's a challenge. Another challenge is a skilled workforce. And every city in the country has that. But as I said earlier, and as you know, we can skill them up. Right. We have the ability to do it. We just got to communicate. Because if they don't know it exists, it doesn't exist. Right. And if you're 18 years old out there and you don't know what's going on and you don't want to really go to college, there are real opportunities. We hadn't even mentioned Blue Oval. I mean, you can live in Memphis and drive over there. That's not, if you live in California, that's an average commute. So incredible opportunities that young people have to really get great careers. So we just got to communicate more.
Yeah, definitely. So Mayor, in these 16 years from city council to, now the mayoralship, if you could have accomplished anything, no boundaries, during your time as mayor, what would have it been related to economic development?
I wish we could have landed Lowe's Hotel. Yeah. We worked really hard on that. And I'm very convinced it was not a reflection of Memphis. It was a reflection of the pandemic and the hard economic times. And then the Grand Hotel, kind of the same thing. That those we really need a second convention center hotel. One of the great things that we've done as a community is renovate our convention center. $200 million redo. That's fantastic. We just need another convention center hotel, and it's just been tough economic times since the pandemic, with interest rates high, and you know more about that than I do, but I've learned a little bit, and it's just tough. If the pandemic had not hit, one or both those hotels would have come on board.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And we see the national trends, and like you said, at Edge, we're following that to, support growth. But you're spot on. So, during your time as mayor, you've been ever present in initiatives involving economic and workforce development, and one would almost say you put your personal touch on strategies. What would be your advice to the next city mayor when it comes to economic and workforce development strategies?
First of all, you have to make it a priority, and you have a great team with you. You don't have to do it all. You've got you and the Edge team, which are fantastic. You've got the chamber and the state. The state, this is what I really learned as mayor that I didn't know before. The state, when you have a big economic, they bring more money to the table than the locals.
That's right.
And and much of the origination comes from the state. And I think that they go to the state because the state does hand out so much more money. So you've got a great team, but it does take the mayor's office making things happen. I talked about putting one person in charge of economic development, so that we try to move government at the speed of business. They don't want to wait, months to get a permit for this, or you get MLG&W to agree to put more power to a certain spot. Know that. And then, a challenge that we're all going to have in the state is, and this is a challenge throughout the state, is that TVA right now cannot power all the big manufacturing plants that we really want. They're doing Blue Oval, but that's going to be a long-range challenge that TVA knows about, and they're working on.
Right. So these next questions are on a timer for you to answer, so you really have to be quick.
Yes.
And I know you are. So you ready?
Yes.
Okay. What's better, UT Vols or Memphis Tigers?
That's not even a question. Go Tigers, go.
Go Tigers, go. Okay, next one, Memphis barbecue or Nashville hot chicken?
That's an easy question too, and I just don't like hot chicken.
Okay.
And definitely barbecue by a long shot.
All right, okay. And last one, BB King blues or Dolly Parton country music? You didn't even let me get it out.
This is hard because as mayor of Memphis, you're probably supposed to say blues, but I love old country music.
Oh,
and
wow.
I love Dolly Parton, I love Johnny Cash and Patsy Cline and all those. So I have to give I appreciate the blues, and BB King does make it more enjoyable, but it would have been tougher had you said Stax or the soul music of the 60s. But I have to go on your question with Dolly Parton country music.
Okay. Well, since you are a mayor, we'll give you a pass. And you passed the Memphis vibe check. So last question, Mayor. Drum roll, please. Breaking news. You heard it here first. What's next for James Stephen Strickland Jr.?
Well, I go through December 31st, and we're going to go hard through that time, but hopefully a vacation.
Okay.
After that, I don't know. I'll have to work, but I don't know what I'm doing. I'm talking to some folks. I really don't know, and hopefully something will develop in the next 3.5 months. But I have to go back. It's been the professional honor of my life to be mayor of Memphis. I've worked with great people, including you. And we've done a whole lot. There are still big challenges left, but I think our team has improved things, and I've enjoyed being mayor. It's the best job in the world.
Thank you for joining us for The Headquarters, a podcast powered by Edge. I'm Joanne Massey, Vice President of Operations. Look forward to seeing you next time.
We hope you've been inspired and informed about the incredible economic development activities happening here in Memphis and Shelby County. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. And be sure to connect with Edge on social media to stay up to date on all the latest developments. Together, we can build a brighter future for our community. Let's keep powering progress through partnerships in Memphis and Shelby County.